Hey, what's going on? Dr. Ganswell Boogie here again, back for another YouTube video. And in this video I wanted to show you guys my entire Scream Factory collection so far, which I don't have the biggest collection. I just started to collect Scream Factory Blu-rays probably 3-4 months ago, so I don't have too many right now. And I know some of you guys have massive collections featuring every release they've put out so far, which is awesome, but my collection does not include all that yet. And right now I just have two of their DVD releases. I have the 10-disc Halloween box set, which is the smaller one, and then I have 10 of their Blu-ray releases, which some of those are combo packs with the DVDs and some are double features. So real quickly, I was just going to go through and show you guys all the ones that I have so far, and I'm definitely going to be making more Scream Factory videos as I buy more Scream Factory releases, probably around the time when I double my collection, which right now I have 13 titles, which I thought was a good number to make a video on. I'll probably wait until I double that to make another video about my Scream Factory collection. But just real briefly, I want to talk about the Scream Factories, which I think they're awesome. They do a great job putting out a lot of these obscure and classic horror movies. Basically, in my opinion, they're kind of doing what Anchor Bay was doing in the late 90s and early 2000s, but almost a little bit better, even though I love Anchor Bay. And to this day, they're still my favorite because I just kind of have that nostalgia to them now, too, because I've been collecting Anchor Bay DVDs for so long. But this is definitely the Blu-ray equivalent of that. So I really appreciate what Scream Factory is doing with their releases, and also that the Scream Factory releases are really what pushed me to buy a Blu-ray player and to start collecting DVDs, because if it wasn't for the Scream Factory releases, I don't know if I even would have picked up a Blu-ray player yet, because even though I do like some of the titles they put out, like these are mainly the reason why I started to collect Blu-rays, because of all the cool things I was seeing other people show and talk about. I was like, oh god, I have to start collecting these, so just now it's an addiction to me, just like collecting Anchor Bay releases is an addiction to me. Now I have another one, which is collecting the Scream Factories. So not to waste any more time, I'll show you guys the releases I have. And first off, I'll show you guys the two DVDs I have, which consist of Halloween 2, which is a really awesome release. Now I have the 10-disc Blu-ray box set by Scream Factory. So I have this one on Blu-ray too, but this is the awesome 2-disc release, and this also comes with the rare TV cut of this movie, which is really cool because the 10-disc box set doesn't. So I actually wouldn't mind picking up the Halloween 3 release too, just so I have the the DVD of that one to go by this one, because I love Halloween 3. That's one of my favorite in the Halloween series, actually, which it took me so long for that movie to grow on me. Like most people, when I first got into the Halloween series when I was a lot younger, I used to really dislike that movie just because it was so different from the series, but now I've really just appreciated it. Now I really appreciate it just for the movie it is, which I think it's a really great sci-fi horror movie, definitely in the style of John Carpenter, so I love it. But Halloween 2, great movie here, great release. Next up is another 2 movie, Psycho 2, which this one I picked up at the bargain bin, or the bargain aisle at FYE for $4.99. They had like 3 or 4 copies sitting over there. And it was funny because they had a used copy of this at FYE going for like $14.99, but then they had like 3 or 4 brand new copies in the bargain section for $4.99, $5. So I thought that was a great deal that I couldn't pass on, so I picked this one up. And I had actually not seen this movie till I bought this edition of it. And although it's not anything close to Alfred Hitchcock's classic, which that's one of my favorite classic horror movies and definitely my favorite Hitchcock movie, but I thought this was pretty good for an 80s horror movie. It still was pretty fun to watch. Psycho 2 there, and that is the last for the DVD releases. And next up here, I'll show you guys the Halloween box set, the 10-disc one. And I did a whole video talking about this box set last week, so I'm not going to go in depth in this right now, but I'll leave a link to that in the description for this video, for my video about this. So if anybody wants to see me talk about this a little bit more, you can check that out in that video. And in that video, I open this up and show you guys how it's laid out and what the covers and everything look like for this, which which I think this is a really nice box set. Of course, it's not as cool or as awesome as the bigger box set that comes with more discs, and it comes with all the movies in their own cases, which I think that's one of the best horror box sets ever released. Just looks great, and you know, they did it right. That's what you want when you buy a horror box set, or just a box set of any movies in general. I want all the movies in their own cases with their own artwork with a box around it. But this is nice too, just for a little box set, of course, because this is the more budget release they put out. And I actually got this from as a gift from my mom. She bought this for me. So for a gift, something that I got for free, this is really, really cool. And this comes with all the Halloween movies on Blu-ray, all the way down to Rob Zombie's second Halloween movie. So that's just awesome. I can't wait for Halloween to roll around, which it's already starting to creep around a little bit, because I'm going to watch all these movies on Blu-ray, which is going to be awesome. So I can't wait. So that's the Halloween box set right there. Then next up, like I said, I have 10 of their Blu-ray releases, which I'll just go through real quickly. First off here, we have Day of the Dead, which I just picked this one up yesterday, and this is one of the ones that has been out for a while. I'm pretty sure this has to be one of their early releases, and this came out when they were putting out the DVDs and the Blu-ray separate. That's why they have the Halloween 2 and Psycho 2 like that. Nowadays, I don't see them doing that anymore. They just do the combo packs, where you get the DVD and the Blu-ray both in one case, which I think is really cool too. But this is awesome. I love George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. George A. Romero's original zombie trilogy, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead are three of my favorite horror movies ever, especially Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead. I love those movies to death, and I watch them over and over again every year. Just two of the best horror movies ever, and definitely the best zombie movies ever made. I've never seen a zombie movie that's been better than Dawn of the Dead. And out of those three, this one's always been my least favorite, but I love this movie still. It's just out of those three, this one I don't think is quite as good, but still, time has done this movie really well. And since its release, it's gotten a lot of praise for its effects and everything else, and I really think it deserves it because it's a great movie anyways. And this is the Day of the Dead release. Alright, and next up, we have Night of the Demons, which this is one of the Blu-ray DVD combo packs, and I love the Night of the Demons movie. This is a great, fun 80s horror movie. It takes place on a Halloween party. It has some really cool punk rock and post-punk music in this, and it just has that really fun Return of the Living Dead 80s vibe to it, and I love this movie. Just really great stuff. Extremely happy to have this release. Next up is the director's cut of Nightbreed, and I picked this one up because this is the first time the director's cut of the movie has ever been released, and it was really good. I had never been the biggest fan of this movie beforehand, and after buying the Blu-ray and watching it, I was actually kind of blown away of how creative and original this movie was, and I would definitely put it right up there with Hellraiser 1 and 2 as some of Clive Barker's best work. Definitely would recommend this one here. Then next up is another one of my favorite 80s horror movies, and this is actually probably one of my favorite Scream Factory releases I own, which is, I'm sad that it does not have the slip case to go around this, but either way, I love this movie and I love this release. The week that I picked this one up, I actually watched this movie 3 times, watched it twice by myself, and I showed one of my friends it, and I did not get bored. I was still having just as much fun third time around as I was the first time, and this is just a really fun, great 80s horror movie, one of the best, and again, I would highly, highly recommend this. I would put it in the same category of like Night of the Demons and Return of the Living Dead, where it's a really fun movie, and it's still a really good horror movie too. Night of the Comet. Oh yeah, and actually, I had actually picked this one up before I bought my Blu-ray player, because this is one of the combo packs, and this is kind of one of the ones that got me into wanting to start collecting the Blu-rays. Once I started to buy these, there's really no turning back after that. Alright, next up here is John Carpenter's Body Bags, which this is great because this one I always wanted to pick up on DVD, but I never got around to it. So when I saw this one hanging around in FYE, actually I ordered this one off the computer, but anyways, I was really glad to finally buy this one. and check it out because this is a really fun horror anthology movie. Definitely influenced a little bit off Tales from the Crypt, kind of has that same vibe. And Tobe Hooper actually directed one of the skits in this, and the other two are directed by John Carpenter, who is one of my favorite horror movie directors. So this is just awesome. So glad that I have this. Alright, next up here is Tobe Hooper's Invaders from Mars. And although this isn't one of my favorite Tobe Hooper movies, I still had a lot of fun watching this, and I would definitely recommend it. The alien effects in this movie are awesome. Of course, like all of good movies in general and all great 80s sci-fi movies, the effects are all practical and they look great, and this is a really fun movie. And I would almost put this up in the category of great 80s sci-fi remakes, along with The Thing and The Fly, even though I don't think it's quite as good as those, but it was definitely following in those movies' footsteps to remake one of those classic sci-fi movies. So it's cool for that. Alright, and next up here is Scarecrows, which this movie is awesome. Killer Scarecrow movie. Highly recommend this one. I always wanted to pick this one up on DVD, but I never got around to it, so I'm glad I finally was able to pick this one up and check it out. Alright, next up here I actually have 3 of their combo pack releases, or double features, and these are the last things I have to show for this video. So first off, for the Scream Factory double features is Ghost House and Witchery, and both of these movies were a lot of fun. I liked Ghost House a little bit more than Witchery. I thought it was just a better movie in general. Witchery actually has David Hasselhoff and Linda Blair in it, so that movie was fun for that alone. And another cool thing about this is these were actually released in Italy as part of the Evil Dead series in a way, because the first 2 Evil Dead movies were released in Italy as the La Casa series, so they were known as La Casa 1 and 2, and when these movies were released, they were released as La Casa 3 and 4. So even though these don't really have anything to really do with the Evil Dead series, they are considered sequels in some weird way, just like Zombie 2 is a sequel to Dawn of the Dead in Italy. So it's like exactly like that, basically. Alright, next up here is the Scanners 2 and 3 2-pack, and when I first started to read about the releases that Scream Factory was putting out, this was one of the ones that I was really excited for, because I love David Cronenberg's films. He's one of my favorite directors, and I love his Scanners movie. It's just one of his best movies. It's great, and I have these sequels on tape, but again, the tapes that aren't the best quality, so I've always wanted to see nice transfers of these movies. And when I bought this, my wish came true, and these are great transfers. And these movies aren't anything to brag about. I would say the second one, Scanners 2, The New Order, is a lot better than The Takeover. The Takeover is actually a little bit more cheesy. So if you're into really cheesy sci-fi horror movies, like straight-to-video ones, Scanners 3 might be up your alley. And Scanners 2 is definitely cheesy, and it's like has that straight-to-video vibe too. But I liked it a little bit more. I thought it was actually somewhat of a decent sequel, especially since it came out a good chunk of time after the first one did. So these are awesome. Glad to finally have a proper release of these outside my VHS releases. Right, and then last for this video and last for my 2-packs is the Ghoulies 2-pack, which I still haven't gotten around to watching these. I've never seen the Ghoulies movies. I picked this one up at FYE because it was hanging around there for cheap, and I had a little bit of cash on me that day, so I was glad to pick it up, but I still haven't checked these out, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the Ghoulies movies are all about. Anyways, it's just a nice 2-pack anyways, with a fun little cover with the Ghoulies guys coming out of the toilet there, so good stuff here. So that was the complete Scream Factory collection so far. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and of course, like always, if you did, definitely give it a thumbs up or leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time.